Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys vs. Panthers, the good, the bad, and the ugly from Week 15. Despite being the underdog this week against the Carolina Panthers, the Dallas Cowboys somehow managed to come to life in hostile territory to secure their sixth win on the season with a 30-14 victory Sunday afternoon. This was just the latest example of not knowing what to expect on a week-to-week basis from this team this year. There were more positive than negatives that came out of this Week 15 matchup with the Panthers. The Cowboys played pretty well on both sides of the ball, however, it wasn't perfect. There was some good, some bad, and some ugly mixed in throughout the game, which we will identify and discuss below. It's a tie this week between CeeDee Lamb and Rico Dowdle for the good from the Cowboys' Week 15 matchup with the Panthers. Dowdle rushed for a total of 149 yards on 25 touches, giving him his third consecutive 100-yard rushing game in a row. As for CeeDee Lamb, his 9 catches for 116 yards and 1 touchdown put him over the 1,000-yard mark, receiving for the 4th consecutive season in a row, the first player to do that since Michael Irvin. These two combined helped pave the way for the Cowboys' victory this week. For the second consecutive week in a row, the Cowboys had another unfortunate turnover in the red zone when QB Cooper Rush fumbled after bumping the tip of the football on Rico Dowdle's thigh on a fake handoff. This was Dallas' 9th turnover this year in the red zone, which just so happens to lead the entire league. Fortunately, it didn't impact the outcome of the game like it did last week against the Bengals, but it is a stat the Cowboys would definitely prefer not to lead the league in. Despite being without DeMarvion Overshown and Trayvon Diggs due to injury, the Cowboys' defense completely dominated and made QB Bryce Young and company look ugly. Dallas defense finished the game with a total of 4 turnovers and 6 quarterback sacks. Osa Odigizua and Micah Parsons led the charge with a pair of QB sacks apiece. This might have been the first time all season the Cowboys' defense looked like the unit we were used to seeing the past few years under Dan Quinn's tutelage. Micah Parsons reacts to report that the Cowboys haven't ruled out trading him in the offseason. Earlier today, NFL insider Ian Rappaport revealed that he spoke to Dallas Cowboys executive VP Stephen Jones about the team's offseason goals after a disappointing 2024 season. Jones shared that the organization will have to rethink how they build their team and how they'll pay their players. With Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb getting big paydays prior to the season, it became evident that not all of the Cowboys' stars will get locked in on a long-term deal. One star being Micah Parsons. As for the game, Parsons led the Cowboys' defense. It was an overall strong outing for the unit, 4 turnovers and 6 sacks. Parsons had 4 total tackles including 2 sacks. Defensive tackle Osa Odigizua was the Robin to Parsons' Batman, 4 total tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. Naturally, the report made its way back to the edge rusher after the Cowboys' 30-14 win over the Carolina Panthers. Will the Cowboys make a blockbuster trade? Who knows? History has shown that they have traded away a big talent, Herschel Walker 1989, but the organization is not the same. It would be a shocking move if the front office pulls the trigger, but the Cowboys haven't had a defensive talent with Hall of Fame potential like this since DeMarcus Ware. Despite missing 4 games, Parsons has racked up 6.5 sacks, 28 total tackles, 18 solo tackles, and is 6th overall in quarterback pressures, 41, this season. In his 4 years with America's team, Parsons has won the Defensive Rookie of the Year award, 2021, selected to the All-Pro team 3 times, first team in 2021 and 2022, second team in 2023, and is a 3-time Pro Bowler. To make it to the highest level of your sport, being an intense competitor is nearly a mandatory requirement. Carolina Panthers rookie wide receiver Xavier Legette showed us just how much winning means to him as a tough drop ruined his week, despite the fact that his team's season is all but over. This Sunday, Legette and the Panthers lost to the Philadelphia Eagles by 6 points, coming up just one score short of what would have been a tremendous road upset. The Eagles are now 11-2 on the season, contending for the NFC's top seed, while the Panthers have won just 3 games. In fact, Carolina is in contention for one of the top picks in the 2025 NFL Draft, so it could be easily argued that a loss on Sunday helped their franchise in the big picture, as playoff contention for this season has already been off the table for quite some time. Cowboys could hire offensive genius to replace Mike McCarthy. Even well before the NFL offseason kicks in, plenty of NFL analysts and experts are looking at what various teams could do to their rosters and coaching staff after February to strengthen their franchise. For the Dallas Cowboys, many are expecting Jerry Jones to split with head coach Mike McCarthy and bring a new voice in. It goes without saying that there are plenty of names being floated around as possible replacements for McCarthy. But one could stand above the rest. Everyone has their favorites when it comes to who should coach the Dallas Cowboys in the future, and Jerry Trotta of the Landry Hat has a top pick. In a December 12 feature for the publication, he states that Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, is his top choice. Johnson was one of the most coveted coaching candidates last hiring cycle. He took several interviews and appeared to reach an agreement with the Commanders but be backed out at the last second to return to his post in Detroit, Trotta noted. Numbers don't lie, and Ben Johnson has those on his side. The Detroit Lions, heading into Week 15, ranked top in points per game 32.1 and second in yards per game at 394.8. Partly thanks to those numbers and perhaps other factors, Trotta calls Johnson one of the top play callers in the NFL. He's in the upper echelon with Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. Johnson is the architect of the entire operation, Trotta said. He calls the plays and designs the scheme. He's propelled a very limited quarterback in Jared Goff into the MVP conversation. Trotta added that it's unlikely that Jerry and Stephen Jones would hire someone with no previous head coaching experience, but that Johnson's offensive genius is exactly what Dallas should target after they made Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb among the highest-paid players at their respective positions. Just look at how Goff has flourished under Johnson. He could possibly do the same for Prescott, although one could argue that Prescott is more of a veteran quarterback than Goff, and Johnson could perhaps fit better with more of a rookie. Another name being thrown around with the Cowboys is Mike Vrabel, the former coach of the Titans. In a column for ESPN, NFL expert Jeremy Fowler says Vrabel is a viable candidate. Some around the league have noted the Cowboys as a natural fit with Vrabel, Fowler stated. They valued experience and pedigree with their last hire in Mike McCarthy and could lean that way again if they decide to make a change at all. Vrabel was 54-45 in 6 seasons with the Tennessee Titans. Under his direction, the Titans went to 3 playoffs and won AFC South titles in 2020 and 2021. Regardless of if and when the Cowboys get a new head coach, that's likely not what's on the minds of the Cowboys right now. The 5-8 team is looking ahead to a matchup against the Panthers on Sunday, December 15th. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Mike Vrabel? Leave your opinion in the comments.